Hello. We are going to do a video and we're going to look at how to find your prenatal eclipses. Typically, everybody has at least one solar prenatal eclipse and one lunar prenatal eclipse. That is a definite. Some folks may have a double solar or a double lunar. Some folks have both a double solar and a double lunar. And so a double solar would mean that before their birth, before their day of birth, there were two solar eclipses, because that means they were back to back, which is a bit rare, actually. For those who have that, there is special meanings for that. And there's a short little video, 2 short videos up on the channel that describe what does it mean if I have a double solar. And then some of us also have 2 lunar prenatal eclipses before our birth, which meant that there were 2 eclipses, 2 lunar eclipses back to back prior to your birth. Okay. Now, it's easier to talk about this when we're actually looking at the ephemeris, because an ephemeris is how we, it's the scientific calculation of the location of the planets and the luminaries, the cosmic bodies up in the sky. Right. So that's what we're going to do here. We are going to scoot on over. Everyone has their own favorite place to go look. We're going to use astro.com as an example. Some folks have found that Astrology has a good thing, and maybe I'll even show that, but I haven't, I'm going to stick with this for right now. And we are on the astro.com, and we're just going to go to the top left hand side where it's the menu and click on the menu, and we're going to go to home. Okay. Agree, whatever they want you to agree to. And we're going to scroll down. This is the main page, their home page. We're going to scroll down and we're going to look for their ephemeris. And if you go on the right-hand side, right? If you go on the right-hand, let me get rid of the commercials. Right-hand side has got the current planets of the moment. You keep scrolling down and it comes to a 9,000-year ephemeris. We're going to click on that. Now, it's going to give you options for different ephemerises. Swiss ephemeris for users. There's lots of different ephemerises here. So it's got the most popular ones in the top left-hand corner I have lit up here. You see that? And we are actually looking to see if they have a ephemeris just for eclipses. That will narrow this down a little bit more. That way we're not so scattered looking at all the planetary bodies. So that's what I'm going to try to focus on. We're going to see if we can get, you see right here, solar and lunar eclipses. And now that was just at the bottom of this page. You see that? Scroll back down again. Solar and lunar eclipses. We're going to click on that. And let me see. It doesn't seem to show a side-by-side. Then once you click on that, it separates them. It separates just the solars, and then it separates just the lunars. And so it's actually faster and more simpler to do a side-by-side. So from here, I'm going to pull up Astro Cafe. Okay, because I know that they have one created just for this purpose. Actually, it's called It's called Cafe Astrology. My bad. Cafe Astrology. We're going to go to there. We're going to click on that, Cafe Astrology. Once you're in Cafe Astrology, you see their search button right here. Click on the search, and we're going to put down eclipse tables, solar and lunar. There we go. We found it. That took forever. I'm sorry about the ads. Here we go. We got it. Solar and lunar eclipse tables, which means they're going to show us a side-by-side. Okay. And that's super vital. You're going to notice that this is going to look familiar because this was the example I used in my videos. We'll see how it starts in 1940. You see that? For whatever reason, that's where this table begins in 1940. Okay. This video was from a subscriber who said, hey, how do I find my solar and lunar prenatal eclipses? And they had a birth date of September 1st, 1970. So these are the solar and the lunar eclipses. All right, so here we go. We're in 1970, right? Person was born in 1970, and so that's what you want to look at. You want to narrow it down by looking at the 1970s. If this is you, and since this person was born September 1st, we're going to round this off to, we're not really rounding it off, but we see here that in 1970, the last eclipse in 1970 was August 31st. So September 1st is the very next day. So this shows us that this eclipse, August 31st, 1970, keep going on over. I'm going to do it like this, was at 8 degrees in Virgo. And the SE stands for solar eclipse. Okay. I know there's a lot of other information on that same line, and that is more detailed stuff. Okay. It's basically saying that it's giving you the breakdown of why this was a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse is the same as a new moon, but yet it's near the nodes. So it's an eclipse, and I don't want to go any further into that, but that's why they're giving the extra details. That means that the sun and the moon were conjunct. You see that? The sun was at 8 and the moon was at 8. They were conjunct at 8 degrees in Virgo. And thereby, this was a Virgo solar eclipse. A Virgo solar eclipse. Now, that's their prenatal solar eclipse, because this happened before their birthday. Their birthday was the next day, September 1st. Now we want to find their lunar eclipse. And we would just look at the previous eclipse before this one. Well, we know eclipses happen 2 weeks apart. That's the normal cycle. And look, August 16th was the previous eclipse, and it was a lunar eclipse. I'm sorry, my highlighting is lame. My highlighting skills, there we go. The previous eclipse was a lunar eclipse, and it was in Aquarius. It happened August 16th, 1970 at 11:15 p.m. Lunar meaning moon. So we pay attention to the moon. It's giving us a lot of information here, right? It says the sun was at 23 degrees in Leo, and that it was in an opposition to the moon, which means there was a full moon, and that's how you get a lunar eclipse. There has to be a full moon. Right. And so here it is. The moon was 23 degrees in Aquarius. And the LE stands for lunar eclipse. You see that? So that's how easy it is to find out what your prenatal eclipses are. Okay. Now, for some people, depending upon how these eclipses worked, they can have a double, meaning a double lunar or a double solar. Now, how would that look according to the ephemeris? Well, let's take a peek. Let's scroll down a little bit to 1971. Look what happened in 1971. In 1971, in February 25th and February 22nd, there were 2 eclipses that occurred, and they were both solar eclipses. They were back-to-back solar eclipses. So let's pretend we got somebody coming to me and saying, gee, my birthday was July 23rd or July 24th or July 25th in 1971. What are my prenatal eclipses? Well, according to this chart, right, I'd go look at this chart and I would be like, holy shit, you have 2, you have 2 solar eclipses before your birthday. And I have to include those. I can't just pick one or the other. I have to include both of them because they both happened before this person's prenatal lunar eclipse occurred. You see the line right above these two solars? February 10th. The February 10th is a Leo, it's a lunar eclipse. The moon was at 20 degrees in Leo. Let me highlight that now. The moon was at 20 degrees in Leo, and it's a lunar eclipse. So, to recap this person, if you had a birthday July 23rd, 24th, 25th, or any time prior to August 6th, you would have you would be a double solar. You would have two back-to-back solar eclipses. God, I wish I could do this highlighting thing better, but I can't. So I'm just going to just go like this. You'd have two back-to-back solar eclipses. One would be in Pisces at 6 degrees, and the other one would be in Cancer at 28 degrees. And both those would be relevant. You would jot those things down. You would mark those points in your chart. They are powerful. They mean something. And then I would also tell you that your lunar eclipse to mark down, your prenatal lunar eclipse, is in Leo at 20 degrees. And you would mark that point in your chart. Eclipse tables. And then under that, it should say the solar and the lunar. And then you scroll down and it starts automatically. I haven't done anything different. It just automatically starts. 1940 is where it begins. And it also shows you the key right here. The SE is for your solar eclipse. The LE is for your lunar eclipse. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.